Alright, Lost in a Thousand Days. I've decided to do this. Hold on for 1 second. Alright, Lost in a Thousand Days. I'll be the first one. As you say, draw the first blood or whatever. I know no pun intended, me being Protestant and the whole Protestant Reformation and history of the Catholic Church, and I know all that. I know that you're all going to throw that at me, and it's okay. Because the only my defense to that is that a lot of, I mean, no matter where you come from, people make mistakes. You can never actually kill somebody in the name of true Christianity or Catholicism, which is essentially the same thing. But actually, Catholicism is part of Christianity. You have which things you have Protestants, you have, I mean, Hebrew, you have, which isn't really so much a sect of Christianity or a denomination. You have Irish Catholics, you have Roman Catholics, there's hundreds of them. I can't name them, but here we go. Lost in a Thousand Days. I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to pull out, and I know that Satan is just as well versed in the Bible as God, or him and his son form of Jesus and the Holy Spirit, any angels you could think of. If you're truly a Satanist, you basically think of my Lord and my God as I think of yours. And I'm not insulting you by any way. I'm called to love you like a brother or sister. I don't know what your gender is, but I'm called to accept you and love you as a family. Okay. Let's speak a little bit about Sheol, which is translated into the hell. Deuteronomy 32:22 says, "For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn in the lowest of hell." You have 2 Samuel chapter 2, or chapter 22 verses 6. The courts of hell compassioned me about. Okay, or not compassioned, but encompassed. That one I had to look up. I didn't remember. Then there's Job. There's chapter 11 verse 8. It is God's wisdom as high as his high heaven. Blah blah. This one I looked up too. It is God's wisdom that is high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell. What canst thou know? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Hell is naked before him, and the destruction hath no covering, which is Job, chapter 26, verses 6. Psalms 9:17 says, "The wicked shall be returned into hell, the condition of death, and the nations that forget God." Basically, what we interpret hell as is it's more or less, people will tell you that it is God taking his hand off of you. It's not. It's mainly just like they tell you, just like a parent will tell you, a good one. That's weird. Okay. The TV just turned itself on. So, in the name of anything that could possibly be here, I rebuke you. Any negative entity or spirit. I used to do ghost hunting, and I know for a fact that there's something out there. So, anything that could be out there, I rebuke you. I'll just say that now. That will not leave my soul in hell. Neither will thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. That's Psalm 16:10. Psalms 18:5. The cords of hell compass me. I already read that one. Alright, back to the ones I know. Psalms 55:15. Let them go down quick into hell, or marge in the grave. Psalms 86:13. Thou hast delivered me from my soul from the lowest of hell. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the pains of hell get hold upon me. It's Psalms 116:3. Psalms 139:8. If I make my bed in hell, behold, there art thou. As you can see, I'm quoting out of the King James. The King James is essentially the most accurate that we have. Proverbs 5:5. His feet go down to hell. He take hold on hell. Or her steps take hold on hell. Or his steps take hold on hell. Or theirs, anything. You can use that. Her house is the way to hell. Her house being, if you read the book, Bill Weiss, 23 Minutes in Hell, he'll describe to you what her is. Her would be an actual female. Um, Now, a lot of things you'll find in Satanism and Protestantism or the Catholic Church, a lot of them very, very closely intermingle with each other. Um, that's just the best. I mean, I can just tell you that. Sorry, you just have to be real descriptive on what you do and how you read things. Just know what you're reading. You know, if not, that the dead are there, and that and that her guests are in the depths of hell. It's Proverbs 9:18. Proverbs 15:11. Hell and the destruction are before the Lord. Basically meaning that a lot, most churches give the impression that Satan owns hell. He doesn't. He's being held there as a prisoner. It's just like saying any other prisoner owns a state pen they're in. They don't own them. They may run them, but they don't own them. But they're being punished there too. Proverbs 15:24. The path of life upward for the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. Um, there's a lot of scriptural evidence. Just closing this out in a minute. 23:14, Proverbs, thou shalt beat him with a rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell. Proverbs 27:20, hell and the destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. Basically talking about our own uh, human need to be satisfied. When if you look at things that are not of God, they're not going to be. Isaiah 5:14. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth wide without measure, meaning it's going to be an endless place. We're not going to. It's never going to be full. Just like it was set up before, it's not gonna. It's not gonna be full. Isaiah 14:9 through 15. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet at thy coming, and thou shalt be brought down into hell. If you look at a lot of, again, read the book 23 Minutes in Hell by Bill Weiss. He describes it as an endless highway. People don't know they're there until, bam, you're there. You don't know you're on your way until you're there. Bam. Because how many people would choose to live something like that? Isaiah 28, verses 15 through 18. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death and hell, we are at agreement. When overflowing scourge shall pass through it, it shall not come unto us. For we have made our lives and refuge under the falsehood we have given ourselves. Therefore, said the Lord, your covenant with death shall be annulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. Okay? You can also refer to Romans 23 and Hebrews 2 verse 14. So no, Romans 6 verses 23 and Hebrews 2 verses 14. And it talks about demonic angels. Isaiah 15 or 57:9. And did debate myself or did debase myself unto hell. Ezekiel 31:15 to 17, when it says that in the day that he went down into the grave, I made the nations to shake the sound of his fall. When I cast him down into hell, that descend into the pit, they also went down into hell with him, unto them to be slain by the sword. Ezekiel 32:21 will tell you, the strong among the mighty shall speak to him out of the midst of hell with them that help him. In other words, if you take part in evil, you're going to be there just, as everybody is. And I think that's quickly where this country's headed. we are. I believe we are the modern day Babylon. Ezekiel 32:27. They shall not lie with the mighty that are fallen of the uncircumcised. Of the uncircumcised which are gone down into hell with their weapons of war, and they have laid their swords under their heads. But their iniquities shall be upon their bones. There they were the terror of the mighty. There they were the terror of the mighty in the land of the living. Some of these I had to look up to. Amos chapter 9 verses 2. They dig into hell. Thence shall mine hand take them. Jonah 2 verses 1 and 2. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by the reason of my affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell I cried, and thou heart my hardest voice. Jonah was actually like sent to hell. Okay, and there's Habakkuk, I can never pronounce it, Haba, we'll just abbreviate it. Chapter 2, verse 5. He who enlargeth his desire is hell, and his death cannot be satisfied. Meaning that no matter what happens, no matter, if you're looking with evil intentions, no matter what happens, you're never going to be satisfied. These are some scriptures, and these are all looked up because I didn't really, well, most of them, all of them actually, are all looked up, and there's just some things for you to think about. It's going to be 31 texts in which Sheol is translated into grave. 37:35. I will go down into the grave. I will go down into the grave unto my son. Okay. Then which is going to be Genesis 37:35. Hold on for 1 second. Okay. Genesis 42:38. Then he shall bring down my gray hairs of sorrow to the grave. Samuel 2:6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave, and he bringeth up. It means you can either be sentenced to eternal damnation and death, or you can live with him in heaven. That's my choice. 1 Kings 2, verse 6-9. Let not his whore head go down into grave in peace. His hoary head bring thou down into the grave with blood. Job 7 verses 9. He goeth down into the grave. Job 14 verses 13. Oh, that thou wouldst hide me in the grave, that thou wouldst keep me my secret until thy wrath was past, that thou wouldst appoint me to a set time and remember me, or resurrect me. Job 17:13. If I wait, the grave is mine house. I have made my bed in the darkness. That's where Job is waiting for resurrection in the morning. Job 21:13. They spend their days in mirth, and and in a moment go down into the grave. Drought and heat has consumed the snow waters, so doth the grave those which have sinned. Psalms 6:5, verse 5, or Psalms 6 verses 5. In death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? Basically, when you die, you're gonna die an honorless death. Nobody's gonna care. Basically, when Armageddon comes and everything happens, and when Satan is defeated, you didn't exist. You're never here, because the Bible tells us that the negative energies, we may remember this stuff, but we're not going to remember pain, or we're not going to remember hurt or anything like that. Jealousy, any kind of negativity, we're just not going to remember. Psalms 30, verse 3. O Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down into the pit. Psalms 31:17. Let the wicked be ashamed. Let them be silent in the grave. Psalms 49:14. Like sheep they are laid in the grave. Death shall fall, or shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning. Psalms 88:3.